In this screencast, we are going to look at solving systems of equations by the substitution method. And we're going to take a look at a problem where we have y equals negative x minus 7 and 5y plus 3x equals negative 13. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first equation, and we were told that y equals negative x minus 7. That means that in place of y, we could substitute negative x minus 7. So if you think about me being out for the day, there's going to be a substitute teacher in. Or if you think about sports, if someone gets injured or hurt or needs a drink of water or a break, they take that player out and they substitute somebody back in. So the process of substitution is something that is somewhat familiar to you, but now we're going to see it in math. So we're going to rewrite that second equation, and then this time we're going to plug in negative x minus 7 in place of the y. So we're taking the y out and plugging in negative x minus 7 because they are equal to each other. We continue the plus 3x equals negative 13. So we need to distribute this 5 inside the parentheses. So we'll get negative 5x minus 35 plus 3x equals negative 13. We are going to continue to solve by combining like terms. Negative 5x plus 3x is negative 2x, and we'll bring down our negative 35 equals negative 13. We will continue by adding 35 to both sides. So negative 2x is equal to 22. We will then divide both sides by negative 2 to get x is equal to negative 11. So we are not finished just yet. That is one part of our answer. We do need to find out what our y value is. So we're going to go back into that top equation there, y equals negative x minus 7, and now we're going to plug in negative 11 for our x. So we have y equals negative sign negative 11 minus 7. So y is equal to positive 11. A negative and a negative make a positive, minus 7, which is going to give us an answer of y being 4. And then when we go to write our answer, we are going to write it as an ordered pair. So in parentheses, we'll have negative 11, comma, 4. So when x is negative 11, y is going to be 4. For example 2, we have 2x plus 2y equals 18, and x equals 3 minus y. So we want to look to see what variable is set by itself. So in this second equation, we have that x is equal to 3 minus y. So we're going to plug that 3 minus y in for x in the first equation. So we will have 2, and then in parentheses, 3 minus y, plus 2y equals 18. We will distribute the 2 inside the parentheses to get 6 minus 2y plus 2y equals 18. Now, when we go to combine like terms, negative 2y and positive 2y are going to give us 0. So we are left with 6 equals 18. Since this is not a true statement, this systems of equations has no solution. What would happen is if we would graph this, the two lines would be parallel. So I'm going to make a note that these are parallel lines, and they will never ever cross. They also have the same slope that makes them parallel. So it is no solution. Last problem we're going to look at in the screencast is example 3. C equals negative b minus 11, and 3c plus 6 equals 6b. So again, same setup. We're looking to see what variable is set by itself, which is going to be the c, and we're going to plug in negative b minus 11 in for c. So I'm going to go and rewrite that. So 3 times negative b minus 11 plus 6 equals 6b. So we can distribute the 3 inside the parentheses to get negative 3b minus 33 plus 6 equals 6b. We are going to combine like terms. So we have negative 3b minus 27 equals 6b. we can now add 3b to both sides. Negative 27 equals 9b, and then solve for b by dividing both sides by 9. So b is going to give us negative 3. Now we are not done just yet. We have to go back and find our c value. So I'm going to plug that back into that very first equation. So c equals negative b minus 11. Now instead of negative b, I'm going to plug in my negative 3. Since it's a negative and a negative, that turns into positive 3 minus 11, which will give us c equals negative 8. And remember, when you go to write your solution, we're going to write it as an ordered pair. And because it's not x or y this time, it's still going to go in alphabetical order. So it's going to be negative 3 comma negative 8 because b comes before c in the alphabet. And it's always a good idea to check your work, check your answers by plugging them back in both equations to make sure that the left and the right side do equal.